Football is one of the most watched sports in the world, with revenue bringing in millions of pounds. It creates over 2 million job opportunities in the UK alone, and for some people it's their heart and passion. But in March, this all came to a halt, just like everything else. Grounds were shut, pubs were closed, goal nets were tied up to goalposts. The sudden closure of the sport has had a massive impact on the financial well-being of many clubs, with uncertainty forcing some clubs to go into administration. Dereham Town are a local club who have seen the effects firsthand.
Years ago, it made the move up to Olders Park. So I used to play down on the Rec. So that was a huge kind of change with lottery funding that changed the landscape of kind of the football club and what it could do. So it moved into a kind of sports clubs at the time. It had the tennis courts, the bowls, and a sporting provision for the whole town. So that was part of the plan as well as of the progression, I guess, from local football through to where it sits today. It's kind of made the progression through. It's now sitting as the third biggest club in Norfolk, playing at Step 4. So in the East Midlands North League, FA Cup every year, every trophy every year.
It's a tough league. I think it's probably well known that of the level we play at, which is Step 4, it's probably one of the tougher Step 4 divisions that there are about. A lot of clubs, sort of Essex and that way, that have big budgets and good access to players and are very, very strong. But we've kind of over time found our feet in the league, and I think if you asked other teams in our league, would probably respect us as a side and think we're a decent side. We've got some very good players, and we're continuing to try and improve, because the vision is to try and move upwards and try and get to the top end of our league, basically. Yeah.
The lack of football, I think it definitely affected me, because I'm a massive sort of football head, and when it disappeared, it wasn't like sort of between seasons where you can keep yourself busy. This was very much a case of you just don't know what's going to happen.
It's almost a community hub. So lots of other community hubs and places where people socialise and meet has been taken away from people, and it's that social interaction, that ability or that forum to meet people that you wouldn't normally have met through your normal working life, and share a common interest with them.
We're self-funded kind of model, so you've got kind of two aspects to it. I guess you've got the Olders Park business operations, so that could be anything from room hire and meetings and what have you during the day, to then an internal events program on a Friday or Saturday night, and equally you could hire and rent that space for a birthday or wedding and what have you. So you've kind of got the business side over here, and then you've got the football side, so the same as anything else in terms of income streams that come from gate receipts, sponsorship, and so on. But it's completely self-funded. As chairman on voluntary committees, voluntary. And then we have paid staff kind of that might do the bar or run the facilities day to day. But back into March, when it sort of came out for us, it instantly took everything away. So certainly as we went into lockdown, so we had no income, nothing at all.
When football goes, all the eyes then turn to the Twitter and the Instagram, so people know what's going on. And we haven't got the biggest fan base, but we've got a very loyal one. So I know that, and I still know that every sort of tweet I put out is going to be important to a group of 30 or 40 people who are desperate to know what's going on.
Not only has it affected the football club and the staff, the massive break has had a massive effect on the players and the way they go about their everyday life.
You lose that match sharpness that you get from playing Saturday, Tuesday, which is our league is quite relentless. So there's a lot of games, and you can train as much as you want, but nothing prepares you for matches. So yeah, definitely a little bit of that for me. Perhaps a little bit of disappointment as well with everything that's happened. We've done a lot of Zoom calls. I think really just for sort of the camaraderie and to just keep everyone kind of together in that way, really, as much as anything. Obviously they had their own fitness stuff and a programme which they were following and working with, so that side of things I didn't have so much worry about, to be honest, because players naturally look after themselves and make sure they use the pre-season period, like a normal pre-season period, to get themselves fit and ready to come back. So it was more the mental side which affects people differently, and I think you just, obviously with what happened, people in different situations within their personal life, which becomes more important, whether stresses with work or uncertainty with work or whatever it might be. So I think all of that, I think, was probably the more important part for us to try and manage, and we did that through just regular contact and, like you say, just silly little things like quizzes on Zoom, which everyone else was sort of doing as well. And
with football fans being allowed back into the stadiums in the future, the light at the end of the tunnel looks a lot brighter, and this edition could save the game that we all love.